The Lemp Mansion is a home shrouded in mystery. Is this really one of the most haunted places in Missouri? We visited with several of our listeners in June of 2017. We found it to be a beautiful home, and this video is going to take you through a tour of the inside, at least the downstairs area, which includes a museum that has a lot of great memorabilia in it. The Lemp beer empire started as a grocery business. Johann Adam Lemp was born in Germany in 1793. He spent his youth learning the brewer's trade, eventually becoming a master brewer. He set his sights on America and sailed for the land of opportunity in 1836, finally working his way to St. Louis, Missouri in 1838. He started a grocery store and then moved into brewing beer and vinegar and named his brewery Western Brewery. Adam Lemp's beer was unique in that it was a lager made with a special yeast he had brought over from Germany. After a time, the factory was too small to store all the beer during the lager process. Adam came up with an ingenious solution, a natural limestone cave that had been discovered on the outskirts of town, and Lemp found that if they used ice from the Mississippi River to keep the cave cold, it could be used to store the beer during the lager process. When he died in 1862, his son William J. Lemp took over the brewery and grew it into an empire. The Lemp Mansion was originally built in 1868 by William Lemp's father-in-law, Jacob Fikert. The architecture is Italianate in style. William purchased the home in 1876, and he expanded it to 33 rooms and added the Victorian decor. He also installed 3 huge vaults where the family could store all their valuables, including artwork and such. Tunnels were built between the house and the brewery, and a portion of the limestone cave was converted to a ballroom, auditorium, and swimming pool where they would host parties. William had been grooming his favorite son, Frederick Lemp, to take over the brewery, but he had several health issues and he died under mysterious circumstances that many people believe was heart failure in 1901. William was devastated by the death. He spiraled into depression, and in 1904, he shot himself in the head in his bedroom, which is on the second floor of the mansion. William Lemp Jr. then took over the brewery. As we travel through the house, you're going to see different things like a radiator system that was installed in 1884. Radiant heat had been patented just 5 years before this. There had once been an open-air elevator here, but only a portion of that still exists today. The parlor's ceilings are hand-painted, and the fireplace mantels are made from intricately carved African mahogany. All of the bedrooms are up on the second floor, and then there's servants' quarters up on the third floor. We weren't able to get up to those on this visit, but Denise and I have both been through all of those areas, and they're very typical rooms, decorated with antiques, and they've been, of course, remodeled and carpeted, and the servants' quarters upstairs have been renovated to be larger rooms. In the ladies' restroom here, you see this used to be the main bathroom, and right here in the middle is a glass-enclosed freestanding shower that William had discovered at an Italian hotel and had brought back to St. Louis. So it looks very peculiar to those of us who live in the 2000s, but at the time, this was a real treat to have this in the home.
scared. It's a little freaky out here. And then they still have no access to this. I think that was one of the last to go in the caves down here to the basement down there.
Well, you can get to the wine cellar, but you're not going to have access to the caves.
I've gone through the wine cellar, to the cave, all the way to where that spiral staircase is. It goes up to the, I guess it's a sewer now.
Like sit down and then like
Does it feel weird?
It's
It feels
weird.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm now
gosh.
sick. I'm talking
Oh, and I'm like,
I'm
the
so
people-
nervous.
Are
yeah.
you really sweet? Oh.
Which is weird because I'm a hairstylist.
Yeah.
I'm doing your hair. I can talk.
Because you're doing something you love and you're comfortable with, so you're out there with it.
Here hangs a picture of the Lavender Lady. This is Lillian Hanlon, and she was William Lemp Jr.'s wife. Lavender was her favorite color, and so she wore it a lot. That's where the name comes from. She not only had a wardrobe that was mostly lavender, but she also had her carriages painted that color. Lily eventually filed for divorce from William Jr. She claimed abandonment and cruelty. A lot of people said he was a womanizer, and there are rumors that he fathered a boy with another woman. It was thought that this boy was born with some kind of mental deficiency, and so he was locked away up in the attic, and he had been given the cruel nickname Monkey-Faced Boy or Monkey Boy. It is believed that his actual name was Zeke. Problems continued for William Jr., and in 1919, the brewery shut down, mainly because Prohibition had come into place. Falstaff was the name the Lemp family had given their beer, and the trademark was sold off, and the brewery was auctioned off to the International Shoe Company. Jr. fell into despair, and in 1922, he shot himself in the front left dining room of the mansion, which was his office at the time, and this is where we had our lunch. Before William had killed himself, his sister Elsa Lemp had died. Elsa suffered mental cruelty and abuse at the hands of her husband, and in 1920, she shot herself in the head while she was in bed at her and her husband's home. William Jr.'s brother Charles took over residence of the Lemp Mansion in 1929. He was a recluse, and people said he was a little nuts. He shot his dog dead and then turned the gun on himself and shot himself in the head. So as you can see, the Lemp family and suicide seem to go hand in hand. Here we are inside the museum in the Lemp Mansion. Lots of great memorabilia to look at. You'll also hear in the background some of the spectacular crew that was here with us. Today, the Lemp Mansion is a restaurant and an inn where you can stay overnight. It has 6 suites, each named for a member of the Lemp family. And of course, we have our ghosts here. We've been in the mansion twice and never had anything happen, but other people have. During renovations of the mansion, workers experienced slamming doors, an oppressive feeling throughout the mansion, and other strange noises. Restaurant employees claim to have heard footsteps, strange noises, seeing apparitions appear and disappear, and glasses have gone flying across the bar or off of the bar. People have claimed to see Zeke up in the windows, and EVPs have caught a young voice saying, "Come play with me." When we were touring the mansion a couple of years ago, we were told that Zeke had escaped to a different part of the attic where you couldn't get to, and that he no longer made appearances because he'd been so battered by paranormal investigators who came in and were just basically abusing him verbally. Our tour guide Betty told us that when she had come to the mansion to help out in the production of a documentary, they'd opened the door to this attic area and set a teddy bear on the stairs, and that they told Zeke, "You can play with this teddy bear, we're not here to hurt you." And they watched that teddy bear lift up into the air and spin around and get set back down on the stairs, as though Zeke had picked it up and turned it around to look at it and then set it back down. The women's bathroom apparently has become home to the leering eye of William Jr. A woman claims that she was in there doing her business. She looked up, she saw a man peeking over the stall. She'd been at the Lemp with a couple of guys, so she went out and said, "Well, I hope you guys got an eyeful." And they said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "You were looking at me over the door." And they said, "It wasn't us." William Jr. also apparently kicks the door to the bedroom that used to be his father's room. This is probably residual going back to when William Sr. had committed suicide and William had to kick in the door to get inside. The staircase features the disembodied footsteps of someone who runs up quickly. There are glowing orbs that have been witnessed moving up and down the stairs. And the back staircase is where Charles' dog is heard panting and clicking his paws against the floor. William Sr.'s room has a white glowing apparition with a beard, and the Lavender Lady Suite occasionally has a distinctive lavender scent. The door there is opened on its own even after being locked, and a shadow figure has been witnessed as well. And although she didn't die there and she had divorced William Jr., it is said that her full-bodied apparition has been seen in the Lemp
Don't you love
Mansion.
the informal
piano
china?
here also plays by
This is
itself.
the informal china.
Informal?
But it's, just like every regular day, china. I mean, it's nice to call it informal.
Okay, is the History and Haunting, is that the book that tells all of the stories, or?
Yeah, there's two books written by different people. This is the newest one. It's called by Rebecca Pittman. And as you can see, it's a little thicker than this book here, Lemp Haunting History. Both good books. This one was written by Stephen Walker. So I would say that this one is a little more in-depth. This certainly is probably everything you need to know. I mean, it's a lot of information there also. The benefit of this book, I think, makes for a better coffee table book. It's got bigger pictures and stuff like that.
Okay, all right. And is that the DVD that's about the same thing? And
Yeah.
then is it? Okay. The book of the-
Which book is
this one.
it? There you go.
Yeah.
When did they stop making beer here?
The Lemps went out of business in 1921, right after Prohibition.
Imagine it's hard to sell beer during Prohibition.
Caves under here.
It's the haunted
I read
Lemp
that he
Mansion
decided to start his
game.
brewery here because they
Look
want
at that.
some natural underground caves. And
That's
it's
pretty
cool. They can
cool.
store the beer in it. Yeah. That is
Well, that's
awesome.
ingenious, because the,
And with this, you put a pencil in it and it writes, don't use this.
Don't tempt the spirits.
No tempting the spirits.
So is the Lemp Mansion haunted? That is for you to decide.